Yes. 1 second. Islam. Give me a second. We on YouTube too. Give me a second.
Welcome on my real friends. It's starting next, so check this out. Shining this road by myself. Pulling no one left, try to help me. That's on me real Jesus. Thoughts and family. Who give me some kind of belief in my ability. The fake ones never have to make it. Because I'm hopeless. My circle reserved for my true friends, them alone, them alone. That's only reserved for my true friends, them alone, them alone. That's great good thing in the circle.
What up? What up? What up? What up? Peace, 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 peace to all the true Moors and true light seekers. Everybody doing all right? Everybody doing all right? I hope so. You know, we stay clean and upright, man. I told y'all that's how we do. Can everybody hear? We're going to jump right into this teaching. We're going to jump right into the teaching. Watch this. It ain't even going to be long. Anybody want to ask some questions? You can. Because the first thing, so I know for my students, I hope you got your Quranic study guide. I'm going to synchronize something real fast. And your catechism for understanding the Quran, you're going to need those. You're going to need your Moorish Quran. You're going to need your Moorish Quran. And I'm also going to highlight the discover the key to the Moorish questionnaire. And this is a bonus book I'm going to be shipping out to Moors. I told you I'm going to be pulling out a lot of literature and things as we go on, because I'm going to synchronize so much science. So, hold on, let me turn my music down a little bit. The first thing I want us to know is we must be correct and never point the finger. Because when you point the finger at someone, you got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, shoot, 3 fingers pointing back at you. So we must be correct on teachings. And remember, we're trying to help our brothers and sisters that's lost. Some that's lost, they don't want to be found, and they want to wander in the wilderness. We got to let them do that. We got to let those that want to wander, let them be. This is a gift. You can't change an old dog. No disrespect to no one, but this is a gift. You don't beat this over on nobody's head. You can't force something on someone. So I want to be clear on that. And I want to be clear on historical information and the thing about religion and understanding the words and the linguistics of what our Prophet Noble Ali saying. And not even what he was saying, just understand the etymon and linguistics. So you won't get caught up in someone's arbitrary explanation of something because they're limited in their understanding. This is education and scholarship. This is not catchphrases and following someone because we like them or because we've been food and someone else been food and they want you to be food just along with them. Misery love company, man. That's why no one can mock an educator. They can mock someone that's lying, but you can't mock an educator because you have to educate. So when I talk about religion and things, when I tell Moors, when I was just demonstrating that it was 16 crucified saviors before Jesus Christ, we know that. But then when we talk about religion, all man-made religion is bad for Moors. If you say that God and man is one. Because when I say in Moor science, our religion is Islamism, that's connecting ourselves to God. That's synchronicity. All the religions is under monotheism, if you understand it right. The concept of one supreme being. But when we talk about us as a melanated people and copper-colored races, and then we talk about historical aspects of things, and when we talk about religion, man, I don't give a damn if it's Islam, Christianity, when it comes from those perspectives, when it comes from a person trying to step on your neck, when we talk about Islam, you got to understand that it was the Arab slave trade way before some so-called transatlantic slave trade. And we got to understand the Christian slavery and the conversion and race in the Protestant Atlantic world. When we talk about religion and race and overseers, when they wanted you to pray to their God, because anyone black or Negro, when I broke down the black Christian codes, that's why I don't think people understand. A lot of codes are not abolished. They just been modernized. And you must understand the language. That's why nationality is very important. And religion, you must understand the science of religion, but you're not under nobody's creed, especially when it comes down to the Christian doctrine creed. Because just because you was baptized as so-called misnomer black people, you were still a slave. And their history books tell you about this. So I don't have to make stuff up. When people be talking about all these different denominations and you got these Protestant denominations and all that, well, people don't look at the history of them because the history of them was slavery. See, Negroes thought they'd get baptized under their slave master God, and you think you'll get some certificate of baptism, and they thought they would take that to the courts and that made them free. You want nothing but a baptized slave, a baptized Negro. Islam, don't get mad at me. Let's deal with history. Let's not get caught up with somebody talking about. Let's get caught up with the whole aspect of religion and historicalness and Islam and Christianity and the root of these things, and see why people tried to bring you their religion. And they tried to strip you from your voice and made you want to speak in somebody else's voice. Islam? Somebody talk to me. So we can connect teachings. When we talk about linguistics, like when we talk about Marishko and Mardi Raz, some that was under the Christian right and some that was under the Islam right, by choice or by force. Historicalness. When we talk about the war of Ferdinand and Isabella, when we talk about conquering, when we talk about conquest and reconquest, conquest and reconquest, we must be manufactured with history and not just repeating things, trying to sound smart. And we be looking stupid when somebody start questioning your historicalness, and there's no basis, it's only hate, and we don't operate on no form of hate. So, this is a question I want to ask Moors. Where in your Moors Quran is it the knowledge of self? The knowledge of self. Do we know? And we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that in your Moors Quran, and we're gonna talk about it in our catechism for understanding the Moors Holy Quran, chapter 20 to 48. Do we know where that is in our book, in our teachings? I'm gonna give this, then I'm done. Do we know? Our holy instruction from our prophet to know ourselves, to know thyself. Do we know where that is? The what? The first page? Come on, man. Come on, man. We don't have to guess, man. Come on, we don't have to do that. I didn't say that. Come on, we don't do that. If we don't know, we just don't know, but we don't have to guess because we shouldn't guess. We should know for sure. I said, where in our Holy Quran, what chapter, what page it talks about to know thyself? Because on the first page, that don't talk about that. It just talk about the introduction. We know that, but I'm talking about in what chapter. Know thyself and thy father God Allah. We talk that, and that's just the introduction. The genealogy of Jesus with 18 years of events of life. We know that. But I said, where is it in our Quran where it says the holy instruction from the prophet to know thyself? That's what I said. And the only reason why I be anal and blunt because we must be. We must be. And that's okay, but I'm gonna give it to you. It's in our chapter 36, the holy instruction from the prophet to know thyself, on page 44. On page 44. I'm getting ready to synchronize something. Where is that in our catechism for understanding our Morse Quran, chapter 20 to 48? Where is it at? To know thyself. Do we know what page that's on? I'm about to synchronize something real fast. It's not going to take time. This is why I'll be saying it's like we should be studying. We should be studying. And people not just getting caught up with no catchphrases. So where in our catechism for understanding the Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 20 to 48, where do it talk about what you say, Alex? See, I already know when my brother Vasquez on here, because I know when people study. I know when people study. Knowledge of self. Chapter 36 to 44 in our catechism study. It's there. That's why I be saying I didn't give Moors these books to just let them sit on your shelf. That's how I know what a lot of Moors do with science. They just buy things and then they're not studying. We should be studying this stuff and then we should be asking questions. That's how we learn. That's just the intro. That's how I know we're not studying at home, because the questions we ask and the questions that we don't ask. When people be like, oh, what books I should read? I can tell you to read all type of books. That don't mean you understand the teachings. You just got the books. And then you're doing things on your own, these science books. Exactly. Most people don't have the literature. And that's what I'm saying. Most people don't even have the Moorish Quran. That's what I'm saying. It's books. I got so much of the science, especially how the temples were set up. Like everybody that sent the donation in to get how the temple was set up, and the letters that was sent to the 41st president, those should be ready in a couple days. Like I said, it's a $45 donation because I got to print them. I'm going to start asking for a $50 donation because it costs extra. But the people that already submitted their donation for that, I'm a fulfill that. But now on, it's $50 because I have to print them and bind them. And it costs a little more. The new machines that I have using, making those documents. That's right. That's right, Brother Vaz. That's right. That's why I be laughing, man. Hey, Brother Vasquez, look, Noble. A person don't even have to open their mouth to tell me if they study. I see it in their eyes. And I said, I can smell things like an alcoholic. I'm connected with nature. I can come around you and it ain't me tooting my horn. I deal with my Orisha cards. I deal with a lot of things. I'm connected to the spirit. So all I have to do is be around you for an hour. And we know because you're going to tell on yourself. Because because there's certain things that we should know. And that's how I know when people are actually doing the work and actually going over the research. When I say we're trying to be students again. And I think, Brother Vasquez, you a student out here. So I know when people, it's a particular fashion and a particular approach that you take into any science and in any spiritual book. And if you think you're just going to read something, a holy book, and then go out and start quoting stuff, and then when a person look at your life, it don't match. It don't match because your Akashic record supposed to add up to what you live in. Your Akashic record is supposed to add up. These ain't just books. People be thinking something. I read this. And then you look at their life. They life in shambles. You know, I said, what chapter is in your Moorish Quran? That's in your Holy Quran, right here. To know thyself. That's the first. That's what we teaching. If all this is about perfecting ourselves, that's the first thing we should be looking for before we should talk about trying to write some writs or some old dumb, illegal, fraudulent concealment, domestic terrorist, dumb stuff. Faking the law. I said, in our Moorish Quran, where's the holy instruction for the prophet to know thyself? That's the first thing we should be knowing, because this is self-mastery. And then for all the students, and then I said in our catechism, what chapter is it talks about know ourselves? That's the first thing we should be figuring out. And then I'm gonna take us to, our Quranic study guide. That's why I be laughing. I'm like, how can more say they studying and teaching and studying something, and one, you're not studying with no one. One, you talk about your study on your own. That's a damn shade tree mechanic. I'm like, that's a problem. Because we supposed to covenant. And Moors don't be looking at the duality of what our prophets say covenant. Who you covenant with? You talk about you studying with somebody that called themselves some sheik. And then what sheik? What adept? Where? Of what? Adept of what? Yes. So I'm going to give a little bit of this. The holy instruction from our prophet is to know thyself. But where's that in our Moorish Quran? You got to know where it's at in your Quran too, and what chapter. We have to know this stuff. When you know this Quran, what I be telling more, this is the lower level of science. This is the 32 and 33 degree of science, perfecting yourself. Then we perfect ourselves with nature. You see? This ain't just somebody putting on the fairs. This is a study. And this is intensive work. This is not a joke. And then our life exude nobleness. We ain't just trying to make money off nobody. I'm a real nonprofit. I'm trying to build a real physical temple. That's what we doing. This ain't to support me. I'm successful in life. Hell, I have a real education. I provide real services in the community. So, our holy instruction from the prophet, Noble Drew Ali, is to know ourselves. Weak and ignorant as thou art, O man, humble as thou oughtest to be, O child of the dust, wouldest thou rise thy thoughts to infinite wisdom? Do we know what infinite wisdom is? Infinite wisdom is what? The Moorish Akashic records, that higher science. Wouldest thou see omnipotence displayed before thee? Omnipotence, omnipotent. Don't we know what that is? Displayed before thee. Contemplate thine frame. Contemplating is nothing wrong, meaning we weighing everything out. Verse 2, fearfully and wonderfully art thou made. Praise therefore thy creator with awe, and rejoice before him with reverence. If it's a creation, it got to be a creator. Wherefore of all creatures art thou only erect. Upright, erect. And when you say upright, mean higher than upright. But that thou, verse 3, wherefore of all creatures art thou only erect. But that thou shouldest behold his works, meaning your works should exude nobleness. Just like a branch, or just like the fruit. You know what type of fruit is by the branches, by the leaf. You know what it's connected to, right? Wherefore art thou to behold, but that thou manifest, admire them. Wherefore to admire thou mayest adore there and thy creator. Meaning, when man honors man, he honors Allah. When you see man is made in the image of God, how can you say you love God and you never seen, but you hate man and you see every day? And man works, and God works through man. That's what a Messiah is. That's what an angel of Allah is. That's how they got us conditioned, is not to look at our brothers and sisters as adepts and to look at them as your God. Bull crap. We must put our own brothers and sisters like myself and other true adepts that would teach in our rightful places. And we must take care of them. That's our obligation. Wherefore is consciousness repose on thee alone, and whence is it derived to thee? Verse 5, it is not in flesh to think, it is not in bones to reason. The lion knoweth not that worms shall eat him. The ox perceive not that he is fed for slaughter. Are you following what I'm saying? I hope y'all following. Are you following what I'm saying? Something is added to thee, unlike to what thou seest. Something informs thy clay. Higher than all is the object of the sense. Behold, what is it? Verse 7, the body remains perfect after it is fled. Therefore, it is no part of it. I hope y'all understanding this. It is immaterial. Therefore, it is eternal. It is free to act. Therefore, it is accountable for its actions. Knoweth the ass the use of food, because his teeth mow down the herbage, or standeth in the crocodile erect, although his backbone is as straight as thine. I hope y'all following this science. We must be studying the teachings of our Moorish Quran, not let somebody just talk stuff. Our prophet have a holy book. Verse 9, Allah formed thee as he formed these. After them, all were thou. Created, superiority, and command were given thee over all. And in his own breath did he communicate to thee the principle of what? Of knowledge. He ain't say the principle of scam artist. He ain't say the principle of hustler. He ain't say the principle of a liar or some scam artist. He said the principle of knowledge. Verse 10, know thyself and the pride of his creation. The pride of his creation. You think the great God Allah would just, that selfish, that he just made one type of people? You got to be crazy. The line uniting divinity and matter. That's the cerebral and the cerebral. That's the exo and the eso. That's the above and below. Behold, a part of Allah himself within thee. Remember thine own dignity, nor dare descent to evil or to meanness. Who planted terror in the tail of the serpent? Who clothed the neck of the horse with thunder? Even he who hath instructed thee to crush the one under thy feet and to tame the other to thy purpose. Don't y'all know what that's saying? Don't y'all know what that's saying? And now watch, I'm gonna show you that in our catechism. And then watch, I'm gonna show you something else in our Moorish Quran about and right under that, verse 36, holy instructions from the prophet, the breath of heaven. I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna synchronize that with our let me see. I think I'm gonna synchronize that. I might do that for you with our Quranic study guide. Let me see. Yep, in our Quranic study guide, when we talk about the meaning of the prophets, the meaning of the prophets, in our Quranic study guide, the meaning of the prophets. But I'm gonna go back, the holy instruction from the prophet, the breath of heaven. Keep that in your head. Now let's go to our catechism for understanding the Quran. And let's go to it. Let's go to page 15, knowledge of self, chapter 36 to 44. Watch this. You got to understand this. That's why I said it's more than just reading. A person can read something all day, then they can't explain it. And when they explain it, their arbitrary, connotated religious perspective and get you caught up in garbage. So, knowledge of self, chapter 36 through 44. What is the esoteric purpose of knowing thyself? What is the esoteric purpose of knowing thyself? Without even looking in the chapter, we should be able to touch clear on it. But I know what we're doing right now, we're going in and reading it because we haven't went over it, and that's the first thing we should do when we get any manuscripts, when we get anything. Just like if you go into college, you're not going to research the science to pull stuff out of it, to check the teacher if the teacher ain't studied it. And that's how you know if a person is just teaching something that they've been taught and they don't know. A law can point. So just because we can recite something, and then when I ask you in layman terms to break it down into life and yourself and relate it to your life, we can't do it. We just read some words, and I'm like, that ain't good enough. What is the esoteric purpose of knowing thyself? What is the esoteric purpose of knowing thyself? And I know a person can read the answer that's on here, but I want you to relate it to life. Put it in your own words. Put it in your own words as like a capstone so I can know that you study it and you ain't just going word for word, memorizing things like kids, how they memorize their ABCs. When it's a thing of academia, when I say put it in your own words and then give credit to the original thought. What is the esoteric purpose of knowing thyself? What is the esoteric purpose in knowing thyself? Because as an adept, you should understand the eso and the exo. That's the inward and the outward. Or the what's above is below, whatever you want to connotate it as. So what is the esoteric purpose of knowing thyself? Just like my brothers that was Masons, Negro Masons, and a lot of them that was European Masons, no disrespect. If you don't know the eso and the exo, you don't know what's above is below, you playing. No, but it's more than that. Hold on. Thanks for calling this menswear. Cree speaking. Hello? Hello? No, you got the wrong number, man. All right, thank you. Remember I said, man, we don't have to guess. No, but if we don't know for a fact, and we can put it in our, when I say put it in our own words, I mean explain it. Esoteric is understanding who you are and enter an example of find. And listen what I'm saying. Listen what I said. I understand. I didn't say what esoteric and what exoteric mean. No disrespect. I get that. But I said, what is the esoteric purpose of knowing thyself? That's the question. I didn't say what esoteric and what exoteric mean. No disrespect to no one. I'm a teacher. So you said, and also being one with your creator. What is the esoteric purpose of knowing thyself? Listen to me. You true. That's true. Acquiring. That's right. That's right. That's right. Acquiring the consciousness that Allah and man are one. Understanding our Islamism. Islamism is God and man is one. Zoroastrianism is God and man is one. That's why I be telling Moors when they talk about they some Islam, they under some religion. I'm like, you can't be under no religion and be a Moor, because in Moorish science, God and man is one. And if you under some religion, then that's true shirk. That's true shirk. True shirk is believing that God and man is one. So anybody that's believing in some Islam or following under somebody else's teachings, you're not obeying your foremothers and your forefathers. You damn sure not praying Moorish science. You're practicing religion or masonry. So be honest with the teachings. So what is the fundamental purpose of knowing thyself? What is the fundamental purpose of knowing thyself? What is some of the fundamental purposes of knowing thyself? When it's based on our teachings. When it's based on our teachings. That's why I said a lot of us don't even know what the Moorish science, what the Quran teaches. If we don't have the manuscripts, we just be guessing. And I teach. I tell you about. I take you to the Kemetic and Adapt science, to the Kabbah of Allah, and how things are written kabbalistically. When you're dealing with some person that just giving themselves titles as sheik, and I say, well, Baphomet is written kabbalistically, and really that's mean the Temple of David, Tem Hob Av Abba. So a person don't even know what they be talking about if they say, well, this Kabbalah, and I say, well, what do Kabbalah really mean? And then I start talking about Gematria. They don't know. And then they don't know the Gnostic teachings. So we must really, really get deeper. A lot of people can just point and say things. So what is the fundamental purpose of knowing thyself? What is the fundamental purpose of knowing thyself? Because there's some byproducts of knowing thyself. So what's the fundamental purpose of knowing thyself based off our teachings and based off our instructions and our manuals that we should have? So we can be correct, or we can be politically correct and spiritually correct based off our teachings. Once we got the basics, then we can freestyle it. Just like when I was a admission director and I used to hire admission reps, I should tell them, here goes the script. Once you learn the script, you can put your own spin on it. But you need to know the script so you can hit all the bullets. So you can make sure you're teaching everybody all the tools and everything that they need to know, so they can have the tools in their toolbox to pull them out and use them. That's standing on your square, being able to defend the law and history, not just wearing the fez and asking a whole bunch of questions. That's right. But we got to know what he mean when he said that. Yes, that's what he said. Yes, that's what he said. But what did he mean? That's why I said that's what he said. But what did he mean? Words have meaning and duality and context and denotation and connotation and arbitrarily things can be explained. Yes, that's what he said, but what do they mean? We must know what they mean in that context. So what is the fundamental purpose of knowing thyself? One, it fosters a righteousness perspective on one's relationship with nature, humanity, and Allah. It fosters an awareness of thyself from our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual standpoints. What are manifest examples of one with knowledge of self? What are manifest examples of one with knowledge of self? See, a person is not going to be blunt if they don't have the teachings. What answer? What answer? I'm on YouTube. Shit. I'm on YouTube. That's why I be saying more should know the answers. We got the science. That's why I be saying the key to salvation can be sitting right on our desk with all the stuff on it, and we just let it collect dust. We won't go through it just to try to get a basic understanding or get a basic grasp. We'll just let it sit. And that's what we do in school too. We won't never pick up on nothing, read nothing until somebody tell us. And somebody can lie to you because you ain't read it all. That's what I'm trying to get people to do. That's what I'm trying to get people to do. We're here to learn. And that's why I say that's what we do in our lower self. We'll go to school forever and somebody will teach us wrong and we won't interject. That's the problem I have. We be so caught up in telling somebody what to do. And I say, well, why we're not doing it ourselves? We must correct things right then. That's why I know when Morris ain't teaching you must correct things right then, because you don't want nobody, because people listening. And if you don't correct something right then, a person can take that out and be what? Misguided. And that's all I tell us. That's why I say we must remove our lower self, because if we want to do something away, we should be doing it. We shouldn't be telling somebody what to do if we're not going to do it. If we see a problem, fix it. Because Morris have the science, no, but you got the wisdom. And I'm going over everything that you have. So when I be telling Morris, we should not just be studying. When I pop on here, this is something that you should be doing all day, every day, with your family, with your empress, a couple times out the day, at least once a day, and in the morning. That's why I said charity starts at home. If we only going through this when I come on here and then we jump on the internet and say some stuff, and we ain't went over our studies at home with our house, we out of pocket and out of line. We out of pocket, out of line, and that's what we do. We point. And I say I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. You know, we on YouTube now. And that's what I be telling brothers. We don't wait to correct things. Our prophet said, if you see an issue right then, you create it now and you fix it then. If you don't, you part of the problem. You see somebody lying to the people, you're going to say, well, I'm going to correct him one-on-one. But he was talking to 1,000 people, and you know the person lying, you ain't going to raise your hand and say interject. You ain't going to interject. Or somebody accusing you of something in court of law, you're going to say, well, I'll wait till I get home and say something. I have a problem with that. And that's why I say I'm not for everyone. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I don't mind hurting nobody's feeling. Gonna make me no different, man. I ain't here for no games or no play. I'm a teacher, and that's what I said. We send our kids to schools all day. We send our kids to church with Big Mama all day. We won't say nothing about no teachings. We won't go correct no teachings. Our kids done went to school. They talk about all this so-called month Black history. I ain't heard no more on here said about what they kids write about or what they taught about. Nothing. I ain't heard nobody winning their kids backpack and all this and see what they wrote about a so-called Black history. But we be so quick to say things, and we have children and things. Well, it been so-called Black History Month. I ain't seen nobody get on here and say, yeah, I have to help my son with this paper or XYZ. But we'll sit back and let people lie to us. I can't do that. We've been lied to for a long time. We've been miseducated for a long time. And we're going to sit back and keep doing that and keep doing that. And that's why I say we hard in the wrong places and soft in the wrong places. Point blank. And that's the problem I have. That's the problem I have, because we play when it comes to our studies. We're not serious when it comes to our studies. Man should study all the time. And then when I be telling Morris, the reason why our empresses ain't with the science is because we're not teaching the science with them. We're not going over the science with them. We going home, getting our room or whatever, acting like we doing something like it's secret. That's the problem. We ain't going over with our empresses, and we damn sure ain't going over with our babies. Because if I talk to the babies right now, your empress, I guarantee they don't know half of what the men know. So what, we acting like some European Masons, or more science supposed to be for your whole household? Because Morris got the science. Morris got all the books. Every student got all the books. So what we should be seeing is us studying with our household. We have a study time. We got study time this day, and then we on Sundays and this day we studying with our teacher. But all through the days we having Quranic studies and education at home. At home. See, it done been so-called Black History Month. I ain't heard nobody talk about they correcting no teachings, and that's what I be saying. We so hard in the wrong places, and we soft in the wrong places. Point blank. So if we ain't gonna correct teachers when somebody's not teaching right then, we part of the problem. And that's why everybody confused. I'm talking to people that should have the studies. So if I start talking personal to certain people and ask certain people answers to the questions that have the science, then what? So, and that's why I said I don't want to do that to people, because I know people got the science, they ain't studying it. And I know they not studying with their empresses. I know everybody that got the science. So if I start asking brothers that got the science individually, then you be thinking I'm how can I say attacking you? And I'll be saying I ain't attacking you. When you got the science, you should be studying this at your household. So this shouldn't be the first time you hearing this. When I talk about what are the manifest examples of one with knowledge of self. The ability to distinguish truth from error, the ability to keep thy soul in moderation, and a convenience of truth. That's how I know Morris ain't studying. By stretching out thy hand for the assistance of others. If you don't know, stretch your hands out for the assistance of others, not in the lower self, trying to act like we know something. By teaching thy children wisdom. By teaching your children wisdom. I ain't say be nice. I said wisdom, because if you look up nice, you'll be tricked. of what nice really mean. Who is the master of thy house? Thy spirit. You would say the man. The master of the house is the spirit. What type of spirit working in that man? So if you got a negative spirit, you ain't the head of nothing. What is the master job? To correct and direct thy flesh. What is the medium thy spirit uses to activate and direct thy flesh? The flesh, we operated by the soul. Your soul should be correct. We just can't be talking. No disrespect. Like, for instance, I got to be blunt because I'm going to tell the truth. Man, no way we should be talking on internet, talking that righteousness stuff, and then you look up on the person, they rapping and cussing, talking crazy, talking about they finna kill a nigga, talk about they hustling, they on the block banging, look at the girl with the big booty, and then you get on here and be trying to talk some righteousness. Man, you confusing me and you confusing the babies. So how can you point? We be pointing, and that's what I be saying, man. We ain't mastered ourselves yet. We ain't came to a level of righteousness, and I ain't say it's nothing wrong with music and entertainment. I'm talking about the message that we're giving to the kids. If we say we Moors and we trying to teach a message, and we trying to correct something, we talk all this righteousness stuff, and then we write on the other, and then the next day we on our pages with all this cussing and this rapping and this trapping and hustling. That you confusing the kids. So we can't talk about the kids as bad, and then you got grown men doing it. What happens if the master is not on the job? What happens if the master is not on the job? You're supposed to be a master of yourself. You know what happens when a master in a job? Exactly what I just said. You will start getting pulled from all this other stuff. And when you were a child, you act like a child. But when you became a man, you put away all childish ways. You're supposed to be a more noble man. We ain't kids no more. We ain't kids no more, man. We're trying to raise our young Moorish men, our young Moorish daughters, and our single family. We're trying to do something. What happens if the master is not on his job? You know what happens when the master ain't on his job? The soul is unable to distinguish truth from error. Let me say that again. What happens if the master is not on the job? Because you're the master of yourself. The soul is unable to distinguish truth from error. That's right, Noble. That's right, Alex. That's how I know when people... Hey, Alex, me and you can go on here all day. I can come right at you all day, and you won't just blabber out stuff. You'll say, I don't know, Noble. I haven't studied that yet. But if you study, you'll answer. And that's how I know a person that's done left their lower self and start operating their higher self, because we don't make excuses on why we don't know stuff, and we don't question the teacher, because we've been in schools, all these public schools, all these colleges, and all these churches. You ain't said nothing to the teacher that was teaching you wrong. But soon as your own brother want to teach you, and we feel we know something, that's when we start doing something. And that's why I said we punks in the real world. No disrespect to nobody. I ain't talking about nobody individual. If you think I'm talking about you, oh well. The soul is unwilling to use its hand for the assistance of others. The soul is unwilling to use its hand for the assistance of others. Y'all ain't listening. The soul is unable to avoid shame and guilt. The soul is unable to avoid shame and guilt. The soul is unable to receive visions, divine inspiration. If you ain't intact to yourself, you're not going to receive visions and divine inspirations. You know how? Because you can't even meditate. I know a lot of Moors, when I tell you the scripture says, all the holy books say man must what? Pray continuously. Man must pray continuously. I know we're not doing nothing. I know we don't take time for ourselves. I know we don't go through our salat. I know we don't do that. And in more science, you're supposed to go through your salat at least 3 times a day. At least. Why? To slow down, to give thanks, to talk to yourself, to get into your wudu. I know we ain't doing it. So we can talk about stuff all day, but when you get around a real person that's in tune, that's 720, they gonna see a fraud. I'm gonna smell it on you like alcohol. Because I'm going to look at your empress and your children, and they ain't operating like y'all ain't operating as one. The soul is unable to receive visions and divine inspiration. What are the actions, the tools of the soul use? Thinking, understanding, reasoning, and willing. What warning did our prophet give us about these tools? What prophet did he give? What warning did our prophet give us about these tools? What did he say to do with these tools? Watch this. And this is an excuse when a person when they try to tell somebody to do something, and I say, I know you ain't read your teachings. What warning did the prophet give us about these tools? Watch this. What warning did our prophet give us about these tools? And see, and these for the ones that have the teachings. I know we ain't studying. Because we got to flip through it and flip through it. We should have some idea and to be able to speak on a little bit of it just to show that, hey, I don't only have the teachings, I'm studying the teachings, and I done went through the teachings a little bit. I have notes. So this ain't the first time I'm hearing it when my teacher speaks of it. If I'm an advanced studier, that's what I be. This is stuff that I know. Our prophet told us to raise them, not too high, nor debase them. They are tools, actions of the soul, but not its essence. But not its essence. See, what warning did the prophet give us about the soul? What warning did our prophet give us about the soul? Whatsoever man do good may do harm. Direct the soul course to virtue. Whatever may do good may do bad. Whatever you can use for good can be used for bad. Just like when you get them religious goofballs, they try to tell you money is the root to all evil. And I say that's a lie and that's false teaching. The vessel is the root to all evil. Money don't have legs. Man make money. So give me Ecclesiastes 10, chapter 10, verse 19. That's what you should be throwing back at them goofball faces when they don't think you should have finances. And our prophet said there's nothing noble being poor and broke. How you think our prophet and the Moors during that time had grocery stores and land and all that? They used their finances and the laws. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. Whatsoever man do good may do harm. Direct the soul course to virtue. So whatever you do it in righteousness. Wherever you do it in righteousness. If you rapping in righteousness. If you selling suits, you selling suits in righteousness. If you educating people in righteousness. Because what can be used for good can be used for bad and vice versa. So if you say you are more, you noble, anything you should be doing should bring harm to nobody. Because that's misleading. How? By feeding thy spirit with what? How? By feeding thy spirit with what? Perception of thyself. So here it is, somebody giving you a perception of this. Oh, I'm a gangster, I'm a thug. This how we do. That's a perception of thyself. That's a perception of thyself. Our baby's getting a perception of that's what it's about. The knowledge of him who created thee. The sense of worship thou owe to him. What is the pinnacle of wisdom? The pinnacle of wisdom is to have the proper perspective on life. See? See? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When we make excuses. Because we good at it. Because we good at making excuses. Because we good at making excuses. In our Quranic study guide. The meaning of prophets. What does it say in our Moorish Quran and on Moorish that's nationalized through the temple? Where's that in our Moorish Quran when it says we honor all true and divine prophets? What verse? What chapter and verse is that? And then I hope you get a clear understanding of what that really means is when it says we honor all true and divine prophets. What y'all think that mean? And where's that in our Moorish Quran? And don't everybody answer it. I want one of the students to answer it. Because see, if this is the basic stuff. This is the basic stuff that we should know. Where's that in our Moorish Quran? And I know a lot of us Googling it right now. That's okay, but it's gonna be a point to where you ain't gonna be able to Google nothing, and all you're gonna have is your notes. It's gonna come a time, and then we'll see what's really happening. Somebody give me the answer. One of the students. Somebody give me the answer. Somebody give me the answer. I know Brother Vasquez know the answer already. I got another student here, the Mobite. I don't want to call nobody out. What chapter is that in our Moorish Quran? Because if we can talk about things and what should a person do, and then I'll start asking questions, where in our Moorish Quran would it says we honor all true and divine prophets? And that shouldn't even take long. Because I know people got their smartphone, Google it real fast. If you're right there, but it's going to come a time where you can't Google. I'll wait. See how long it take. Because I'll stop, man. That'll just be that. I'll wait. I'm waiting. If we don't know, say we don't know, man. Say we don't know. And that's simple stuff. Everybody, that's simple stuff. When they say we honor all true and divine prophets. Jesus, which is Joshua, Buddha, Confucius. Right? Islam, we respect and honor all the laws and the prophets. Jesus, Muhammad, Confucius, Buddha, right? Right? Right, Moors? I mean, right? Somebody talk to me. Islam, right? It's right in our Moorish Quran. It's right in our Moorish Quran. Come on, man. It's right in our Moorish Quran. Thank you. I'm glad you say you don't know. That's great. Thank you. It's in our Moorish Quran. That's the first thing we should know so we don't get caught up in all that religious stuff. When we know how to synchronize, just like the triple rule of the adapt chamber. If Moors ain't got my triple rule of the adapt chamber, the book I divinely prepared and gathered, you should have it. Come on, Moors. That ain't the only person on here that's Moors. Where it says in our Moorish Quran, we honor all the true and divine prophets: Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, Muhammad. What chapter and verse is that in our Moorish Quran? Do we know? Because I've been asking this for 5 minutes straight, and this what I be saying. This what I be saying right here. We be so hard in the wrong places and soft as hell in the wrong places. We all got this. We all got these. We all got them. All the students got them right now. So where is that of your Moorish Quran? I'm waiting. Come on, man. I'm waiting. I'm glad. Thank you, Islam. I'm glad you say you didn't know. Thank you. I'm giving it to you, Noble. But I'm waiting for everybody else on here because I know what we're doing right now. We flicking through it. We asking Google right now. Google, what chapter in the Moorish Quran where it said we honor all the true and divine prophets? Come on. Come, somebody give me a stab at it. We've been on here long enough. We could have been asked Google. Google would have been spit that out. Come on, man. So anybody? I'm waiting for one more person to say they don't know. Cause they live. Come on, Noble. Thank you. I'm waiting for the next person to say, I'm waiting for the next person to give me something. I'm waiting for the next person. Cause this one I'll start asking specifically if we in class. I'm waiting, man. Anybody? See, and that's what I be saying. That's what I be saying right there. That's exactly what I be saying. Nobody can give me the answer. Nobody can give me the answer. And we got smartphones and we got phones. We could have been smart with them. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. Thank you, brother Vasquez. I told you stop answering all the answers. That's why I be saying we got smartphones and we don't even know how to study with them. Here it is, you got a device in your hand, that's just a computer. And that's why I be saying it's like, man, we'll fall with the Titanic, man. Before we humble ourselves and ask a question. And that's what I be saying. It's like, man, we won't even ask a question. It's in our Moorish Quran, chapter 48, verse 11. That's where it's at. Prophet Jesus, which is Yahshua, because the name of the J in the Hebrew dialect, called Jesus of Galilee, Jesus of Nazareth, Jesus Christ, all that. Religious leaders revere in Christianity. I'm glad, Noble. It's our Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 48 and 11. The next question I'll be having to ask more: do y'all got the Moorish Quran? Like a lot of nobles on here, like anybody that's not my students, do you have the Moorish Quran? I hope you should have the Moorish Quran, because if anybody say they studying the teachings of Noble Drew Ali and they don't have the holy book, there's something wrong. That's how I'd be knowing. I'm like, man, what are we studying? And Christ was not originally a name, but a title derived from the Greek word Christos, which translates to the Hebrew word Mishah, or Messiah, meaning the anointed one. Just like when you get them religious brothers, them Hebrew Israelites, no disrespect to no one. But when they say Yahweh and Yahshua and all those different names, when you interpret that in Hebrew, in Jewish, whatever, that mean the God. The is never a name. That's why I say Allah is the one true God, and there's no replacement of Allah. Allah is Allah, but that's a whole nother teaching. But he is regarded by most Christians as the incarnation of God. But however, Moors, to Muslims, Jesus is neither God nor the Son of God, but a messenger of God, a prophet. And like all messengers of Allah in Islam, Jesus came to his people with a message. And that's why we got to have them. No disrespect, Noble. I'm going to send you a Quran. I've been telling Moors, if you send a donation in, send a $20 donation, I'll send you the Moorish Quran. You got to have it. Moors should be students, man. We don't need to be walking around fresh to death, and we in our 30s and 40s, and we not students of the science, but we jump around and act like we know something. That's the problem. What we going to teach our kids and tell our kids what we a part of? Nothing. According to the biblical gospel, the primary sources for knowledge of the historical Jesus was a Galilean Jew who was baptized by John the Baptist and subsequently began his own ministry, preaching his message orally. He debated with fellow Jews on how to best follow God, engaged in healing, taught in parables, and gathered followers. He was arrested and tried by the Jewish authorities and turned over to the Roman government, and was subsequently crucified on the order of Pontius Pilate. This is the story. The Roman perfect. After his death, his followers believe he rose from the dead, and the community they formed eventually became the Christian church. But what's noticeably missing are the 18 missing years of Prophet Jesus, aged 13 to 30. Just like in our Moorish Quran, when they say, why would these teachings, right? What do it say in our introduction of our Quran? When I be laughing at Moors, and then I'll be saying, what are unto thee I grant, it teaches us all this. It says that the genealogy of Jesus with 18 years of the events, life, works, and teachings in India, Europe, and Africa. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age. These secret lessons are all for those who love Jesus and desire to know about his life, works, and teachings. But then it says the reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had the secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when the time appointed by Allah, they loosened the keys and freed these secrets. And for the first time in ages, have these secrets been delivered into the hands of the Muslims of America. Just like I showed you the unto thee I grant and all that, where it tell you where these teachings, why the teachings was hidden. It said the same thing in the unto thee I grant that I broke down the other day. I hope we following this. But our Moorish Quran shares some of the highlights of Prophet Jesus, which is never with the Jan Hebrew dialect. I'm correcting teachings, life and works in India and Africa. Also, there are records in India which support their claim that the Prophet Jesus, which is Yeshua, lived in the country for several years. In 1887, the Russian writer Nicholas Novich discovered in the ancient Tibetan monastery in northern Kashmir an ancient manuscript which detailed the life of Prophet Jesus or Yeshua, called Isa in your Quran, in your Islam Quran. I told y'all in the Quran it talks about what Jesus almost 23 times. It talk about Muhammad what 3 times in Arabic, 1 in English. Which published a book which became famous in his time. It was called The Unknown Life of Jesus Christ, and I have it. The Unknown Life of Jesus Christ. Y'all hear me, Morris? Oh, let me write. I gotta write this email down before I forget. I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta write this email down. Yep, I got you, bro. I got you. Yep. I got you. Right, Morris? But in it described Isa, I-S-S-A, Jesus, spending time in Peru, Orissa, among the priests at the famous Gaganath temple. Just like when I say he traveled through the Mediterranean, through Luxor, all those areas. It's that simple. Prophet Jesus, which is Yeshua, was a role model in them teachings. And therefore, our Prophet Noble Drew Ali implores his followers to learn how to love instead of hate. We can only reach the highest heights of spirituality and earthly salvation through love of the principles of Allah, love for ourselves, love for our Moorish brothers and sisters, and love for the extended Asiatic family. That's in our Moorish Quran, chapter 25, when we talk about the uniting of Asia. I believe one of the most superb definitions of love is articulated in the following biblical scripture, Moors. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. Because see, this action, it does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It has kept no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails. 1 Corinthians 13:4-7. And then we talk about the Prophet Muhammad. Muhammad is the prophet and founder of Islam, born in Mecca in 570. Most of his early life was spent as a merchant, they say. But when I start giving y'all teaching, when I give you the story of the book Gad and Seer, and how during that time it was under the Byzantine Empire, and Muhammad married who? Khadijah, a Roman priestess, and her cousin was Werigar, a high Roman priestess. We'll talk about that a whole nother time. When I tell y'all we don't deal with no outside religion. I promise you that. I promise you that. I promise you that. I'm giving, but I can break down all these different manifestations. We talk about Muhammad. We talk about so-called at the age 40, he began to have revelations from Allah that became the basis for him of the Quran and the foundation of Islam. This is the story. By 630, he had unified most of Arabia under a single religion. As of 2015, that's right. There are over 1.8 Muslims in the world who profess. When I talk about the triple role of the adapt chamber, I'm showing y'all something to where we got to understand this. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. At age 40, he reported being visited by Gabriel in the cave, where he stated he received his first revelation from Allah. So if we're going to diss the Bible, why the angel Gabriel is in the Bible? We don't diss nothing. That's what I'll be laughing. Our prophet tell us that, children, your hair is not kinky. It's woolly like your brother Jesus. Our paperwork tells us we're from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. 3 years later, in 1610, Muhammad started preaching these revelations publicly, proclaiming that God is one. That completed surrender, Islam, to him is the right course of action, the deen, and that he was a prophet and messenger of Allah, like the other prophets in Islam, like the other prophets in Islam, like the other prophets in Islam. Didn't say he was the only one, like the other prophets in Islam. If Muhammad was the only one, what is our prophet Noble Drew Ali? And what is a prophet in the flesh? And what is an angel? That's what the problem is. The town of Mecca was an important trading and religious center, home to many temples and worship sites, where they devoted prayed to the idols of gods. The most famous site was the Kaaba, meaning cube in Arabic. It is believed to have been built by Ibrahim to Muslims, and his son Ishmael. You see how I'm synchronizing this stuff? Traditional Islamic beliefs are comprised of the 6 articles of faith. These principles of faith form the foundation of Islamic belief. It's the systems. Belief in one God, that's monotheism. Belief in angels, same thing. Belief in the prophet of God. Belief in revealed books of God. Belief in the day of judgment. Belief in the destiny and divine creed. You see how I'm synchronizing this? Supporting the articles of faith are the 5 pillars of Islam. The 5 pillars of Islam are: everyone should know the 5 pillars of Islam: declaration of faith, prayer, fasting, the month of Ramadan. But see me, I am Ramadan. I'm a walking fast, so I don't need to do certain things. Everything God put in me is life. That's a whole nother story. If I'm a God, don't nobody tell me what to do. Because see, if you follow the teachings, if you say you're connected to God, when somebody going to tell you out to pray, that was for them. That's why they was out for a long time. If you connected to God and you were the God, that was your time for relaxation. But I'll teach that later. Charity, the pilgrimage. Scholars of Islam have consented the teachings of Prophet Muhammad into a few statements. The purpose of these statements is for Muslims to apply them to every aspect of our lives. The actions are judgment or judged by the intention behind them. Part of a person's good observance of Islam is to leave aside what does not concern him. A person cannot be a complete believer unless he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. One should not harm himself or others. Don't let your focus in this life be the amassed worldly gain. Don't be overly concerned with what people have or think of you. The Prophet Muhammad was a perfect example of an honest, just, merciful, compassionate, truthful, and brave human being. Though he was a man, he was far from removed from all evil characteristics and strove solely for the sake of Allah and his reward in the thereafter. So it's logging off, man. Y'all need to log back on because I'm going to cut it off because IG only give us an hour. And then we're going to talk about the Prophet Buddha. I'm synchronizing all these teachings. I'm synchronizing all these teachings for nobody won't just be lying to you. Now we can talk about the Prophet Buddha or Buddhism, originated in northern India. Buddhism, when I say on our Morris idea, say we respect and obey all the laws and the prophets, right? Jesus, Confucius, Buddha, and Muhammad. I hope y'all, I want more to be correct with things when we be letting people diss stuff. And I'm like, the only person that'll diss something is a person that's not a scientist. It's nothing new under the sun. It's nothing new under the sun. So we respect and obey all the laws and the prophets: Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius. So when we talk about Prophet Buddha, or we talk about Buddhism, when you see my Buddhism, when you see a lot of stuff I represent, A lot of Moors don't understand the science and the higher level degrees of the third heaven or the triple rose. When people be talking about they some adepts, I'm like, okay, whatever. But Buddhism originated in northern India in the 5th century BCE. The tradition traces its origin to the Siddharath, or the Gautama Buddha that sits on the 7 serpents. Remember I talk about that? Or the Africans in Asia. I'm gonna play that film again. It's gonna blow your mind. Who is typically referred to as the Buddha. Literally, Buddha is the awakened or the enlightened one. Siddharath observed the suffering in the world and set out to find an antidote, and through meditation and analysis, he attained an enlightened state of being that marked the end of attachment. When you see the fasting Buddha, when you see the Buddha is real slim and everything, he's came into his higher self. And when a lot of people talk about Ramadan or fasting, it's a mental fasting. And when you see the big Buddha, but you never seen the fasting Buddha is when he real slim and things, and then when he's in that meditative state. That's what that symbology is all about. But in general, Buddhism is a way of finding peace within oneself. It is a religion that helps us find the happiness and contentment we seek. Buddhists develop inner peace. That's why you always hear me saying peace, 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 peace. That's why you see me working with my bowls. That's why I do a lot of meditations. That's why I do my wudu. I do this every day. I have a ritual. I'm a machine. If you're connected to yourself. But Buddhists develop inner peace, kindness, and wisdom through our daily practice. What I just said, through our daily practice, through our daily practice, through our daily practice, through our daily practice. So what you doing every day? Well, I'm gonna tell you what Moors do every day. They get on the internet, they complain, they go smoke weed, they go watch the games, and they jump on the internet with their fez on and say what somebody else said. But what's your daily ritual? Or what's your daily practice? Your daily ritual is you studying your Quran, is you meditating, is you working out, going over these teachings with your family, you breathing right. And I know we ain't doing it. And then we share their experience with others, bringing real benefit to this world. That's what I'm trying to do. We try not to harm others and to live peacefully and gently, working towards the ultimate goal of pure and lasting happiness for all living beings. Oh, I got you, Noble. The Buddhist teachings are often summarized in the Four Noble Truths, which form the basis of the first sermon he delivered after attaining enlightenment, and the Eightfold Path, which provides a basis guide for how to live in the world. The Four Noble Truths are: the first truth is that life is suffering. Life includes pain, getting old, disease, and death. The second truth is that suffering is caused by craving and aversion. The third truth is that suffering can be overcome and happiness can be attained. That's when he say you want the same thing on earth as it is in heaven. Or you think you're going to have righteousness when you die and the flesh is gone? You ain't going to know what the hell is going on. You're supposed to reap some of these benefits in the flesh. That true happiness and contentment are possible. The fourth truth is that the Noble Eightfold Path is the path which leads to the end of suffering. The Noble Eightfold Path is right understanding of perfect visions. That's what I said. You can read something, but do you understand it? You can see it. You can have a vision, but do you have a revelation? I hope you all write that down. See, people talk about they have a vision. I don't give a damn what you saw. Do you have a revelation? Because your revelation is revealing and understanding. So do you have a revelation on that vision? Nope. Right resolve or perfect emotion. Right speech or perfect speech. Right action or perfect action. Right livelihood or perfect livelihood. Right effort or perfect effort. Right mindfulness or perfect awareness. Right meditation or perfect samadhi. But to summarize, the Noble Eightfold Path is what? Being moral through what we say, do, and our livelihood of what we say and do. When I said a law can point, when somebody get on here and say what somebody should be doing, and then when you look at their life, I said, man, you telling somebody what to do, but you ain't doing none of the sort. That's the law and a hypocrite. We ain't got time for that. Focusing the mind on being fully aware of our thoughts and actions, developing wisdom by understanding the Four Noble Truths, and developing compassion for others. And then we talk about Confucius. Confucius, 551 BC to 479 BC, also known as Kong Kui or Kong Futs, was a Chinese philosopher, teacher, and political figure during the 6th century BC. Competing Chinese states undermined the authority of the Chow Empire, which had held supreme rule for over 500 years. traditional Chinese principles began to deteriorate, resulting in a period of moral decline, right? Confucius recognized an opportunity and an obligation. And an obligation, when I tell more, we just want to point. If you see a hole, fill a hole up, but we ain't gonna do that because we ain't no hole fillers. We just pointers, and the law can point. But to reinforce Social's value of compassion and tradition, his teachings, preserved in the Alex, focus on creating ethical models of family and public interaction and setting educational standards. And setting what? Educational standards. When people be coming to this moral science and they think just because they put a fez on their head like they righteous, and then you will see them start talking stuff, and you'll be like, man, you just came into this science, and now you're going to start educating the person on something, and all you do is go to work and come home and jump on the internet, but you're not studying with nobody, you're not becoming a noble. That's why I be saying, man, it's a lot of people that's dress up, and that's the problem. That's the problem. And then we won't even admit our faults. We won't even heal ourselves. We'll just continue with the garbage and continue with the lies and continue with the mental, how can I say, with the mental health issues. We'll continue to pass that crap down to our children because we won't fix ourselves. And we're not willing to. And we're not even willing to covenant with our own brother. That's the problem. Although Confucianism is not an organized religion, it does provide rules for thinking and living that focus on love for humanity. Worship of ancestors, respect for elders, self-discipline. The most renowned books of Confucius is Lunya. Remember I told you Confucius' book? I hope y'all writing this down. Y'all can get all these books from me. I'm telling y'all. Our prophet was an educator, man. He was Professor Drew. I mean, I don't know why. What you think he just woke up and put a fez on and started knowing history and law and civics? And I'm like, man, stop playing. It set forth Confucius' philosophy and political beliefs. It's thought to be compiled by his disciple. Lunyu was later translated into English under the title what? It was under the title the Analysis of Confucius. I got all these books, man. Right? I'm writing this down for one of my nobles so I can send it to him, because he at work. But it's 3 key philosophical principles of Confucians. The Golden Rule, Confucius, the social philosophy, was based primarily on the principle of ren, or run, or loving others while exercising self-discipline. He believed that the ren, or the ren, could be put into action using the Golden Rule. What you do not wish for yourself, you do not do to others. On politics, political beliefs were likewise based on the concept of self-discipline. He believed that a leader needed to exercise self-discipline to maintain humble and treat his followers with compassion. That's why when I say I'm disciplined, I do the same thing every day. I'm a machine. I have to be this way. Why? So I can hold us accountable. Because if we got the keys and things, we got to start holding each other accountable. We just can't be flying off at the mouth all willy-nilly and then we'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Well, grown people we don't be sorry, we don't apologize. In doing so, leaders would lead by positive example. According to Confucius, leaders could motivate their subjects to follow the law by teaching them virtue. That's what I'm doing. On education, the philosophy of education focused on the 6 arts: archery, calligraphy, computation, music, chariot driving, and ritual. The Confucius, the main object of being an educator was to teach people to live with integrity. And through his teachings, he strove to resurrect the traditional values of benevolence, property, and ritual in Chinese society. And why did our prophet select these prophets? Do y'all know why our prophet Noble Drew Ali selected these prophets? Do we know why? And this is what we should be checking for when somebody talk about they teaching us some more science, and they come and the first thing they doing is trying to teach you how to scheme, and they trying to scheme something out of you. That ain't what I teach. The first thing I try to teach you is how to correct yourself and how to be right in your family and how to be an honorable man and how to be an honorable empress. That's what I'm teaching you. Ibn Hakim El Bey, IBNA Hakim El Bey, and Moorish _ haberdasher. So before I'm teaching you anything, I'm not finna teach you no crazy stuff or talk about I'm finna show you how to not pay taxes or drive out no license or come up with all this stuff and you ain't even perfected yourself or your family and your children. We trying to bring this knowledge back. That's what this is about. And then once we know who we are, and then we go to the business and things and we do things together legally and lawfully as an organization, as a nation. I'm telling you, legally and lawfully, not no magical crap. And somebody use you as some test dummy and trying to see if you get caught up in something. That's all garbage. But why did our prophets select these prophets? And I'm done. Because you got to remember, Moors, a prophet as defined by our prophet Noble Drew Ali is a thought of Allah manifested in the flesh to save nations from the wrath of Allah. The same thing that I do. The same thing with my professors and these different professors. This is the things that they was like, man, that's why I get a lot of donations from professors, different professors. I have a real organization and they donate. Because the prophet is defined by our prophet is manifested in the flesh to save nations. Nations is our people. This is the uniting of Asia from what? The wrath of Allah. We think somebody else gonna do nothing. No, Allah is gonna bring the wrath on this world. Throughout the history of mankind, there have been several prophets who were raised from within a nation of people to deliver a divine message and a warning. That's why I be telling us, you think the great God, Allah, was that selfish that he wasn't going to make a prophet for all nationalities to redeem his people? Think about it. That's why it was 16 crucified saviors before Jesus Christ. That's why as Moorish Americans, we are adepts. We know about this triple rose. I hope y'all follow me and be clear the next time somebody come with this garbage telling you what you should believe in. And you should be like, man, I'm an adept. I believe in Islamism. I believe in connecting God and man as one. What are you talking about? Moorish science is knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, astronomy, nature. Thought of Allah manifested in the human flesh to save nations from the wrath of Allah. And throughout the history of mankind, there have always been what? Several prophets. What I say? Several prophets. Say it again. Several prophets who were raised from within a nation of people to deliver a divine message and a warning. Dirty Moors can't make it hard. Just leave their ass alone. I'm right here, Noble. That's why I be saying when you in a relationship and when you in a marriage, why are we entertaining that crap? Once we find righteousness, we got to be like a horse with blinders on and rock with that. We don't need no negative information. If we found righteousness, no matter it's online, whatever, I'll be telling Moors, I use this internet to network. Our network should be our net worth. I don't use this to play. I don't use this to play. On our nationality card, our prophet Noble Drew Ali identifies the above four prophets on our cards. That's why I be lying. I'm like, why would you let somebody print you some bullshit? You can print it yourself. Our four prophets acknowledge others by using ETC. But why these four? Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. That's right. Because the straightforward answer is one. The only religion of most of our people knew coming out of slavery was Christianity. We got to talk about the times when our prophet was bringing stuff back to Negroes. Our prophet Noble Drew Ali never said he was the originator of nothing. He said he's bringing things back to us. So when our prophet was bringing things back to us, most of these Negroes were coming out of this Christian slavery crap. They were coming out of this Christian slavery crap. And then the thing that Islam did, the Nation of Islam, that it made a lot of black people have black pride. But they know that was garbage. But they know that was garbage too. No disrespect to nobody. I just correct the teachings. And we can get deeper in it. We can get way deeper in it of why the Nation of Islam buried stuff in a shallow grave. I'll show you. I'll show you documents what they had. I do this all the time. They knew they had fez and they had ID card that said Muslim. Period. But the straightforward reason is that the religion of most of our people knew coming out of slavery was Christianity. That so-called blonde hair and blue eyes. I'm telling you, and I keep telling you, when you got baptized in the overseer's religion, you were nothing but a damn religious slave with a goddamn certificate of baptism slavery. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. When I started breaking down words and overseers and why they wanted you to read a certain way and why I was an overseer right there. But coming out of slavery and this Christianity, the blonde hair and blue eyes. Thus Jesus had to be revered and misconceptions cleared up to clarity about his true teachings. And we are practicing the faith of Muhammad. We are Mohammedans, Islam in America. Not no al-Islam, not no al-Islam. Thus he had to be referred And we speak of this, of the 18 missing years of Jesus and his works as he travels through India. Thus, Buddha and Confucius also are applicable to be revered or to be referenced. Excuse me. That's why I tell the people, I am the off. Excuse me. A lot of times, we don't understand things, but Prophet Jesus is the pinnacle of our evolutionary trajectory. In the Moorish Holy Quran, he states, brought immortality to light and painted on the whole walls of time a rainbow for the sons of men. Right? Right, Moors? And what I did, all men shall do. It is the heritage of every man, of every time, and clean. And I am here as a demonstrator of the power of man. That's in your Moorish Quran, chapter 19, verses 15 and 16. Prophet Jesus was a demonstrator of the power of man. Most of us Moorish Americans are familiar with the teachings of Prophet Jesus, right? Of divine love, the Savior dethroning the evil, right? The resurrection. And these are the true and divine lessons brought to us by our beloved Prophet Noble Drew Ali. When we say we connecting ourselves to the father and mother of the civilization, and Moors keep talking about their ancestors, I say, okay, but who is y'all missing it. When we talk about the genealogies of Jesus, Ruth, Mobias, Tamar, all those Moors. Come on, man, we be tripping. And then when I get into the 1599 Geneva Bible, it don't say no African, no Ethiopian. You get into Jeremiah and all that, it says Ed Melanek the Blackamoor. I'm telling you. And one of the core differences between how Christians and Muslims view Jesus lies in the verse, I am here, a demonstrator of the power of man, in our Moorish Quran, chapter 19, 15, and 16. See, Christians view Prophet Jesus as a God and identify himself as a disciples, followers, and their intercessors between them and God Allah. But Muslims, on the other hand, like myself and others, do not believe they need an intermediary between them and God Allah. Why do we need somebody to intermediate with us? And we made in the image. We don't need that. Right? Muslim identified with Prophet Jesus. Hold on. How can I help you, man?
You guys rent?
No, everything gets to own. I sell everything here.
Oh, okay.
We sell everything for $220 for prime. For you go
Yeah.
for prime. So we do a package for $220. You get a 3-piece suit, shirt, tie, and a pocket square, and you own it.
$220?
Yep. And you have to pay for your alteration. I charge $12 to do to him. If you want your pants tighter, I charge $18. So it's just a couple alterations if you want your suit to fit a certain way. But the suit package is $220. You want to get some today?
Not today. I was just checking to see what the...
Yeah, well, yeah, that's not a package, but like I said, a lot of stuff that you might see here might be gone when prime time comes.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you're ready to come in, you tell me what you want. We'll put everything on you. We'll go from there. Yeah. Of course, anytime.
What about colors? Like, just like whatever you guys got.
Yeah, that's what all I have. I don't order anything, so whatever I have, like I said, on the rack, we can slim it to you and make it fit. But whatever I have on the rack, usually what I tell guys, don't try to go all crazy. What I would do, I would match my date. Like, say if she was wearing red, I would put you in all black shirt, red tie and red pocket square, a white shirt, just for you to compliment her. But guys be coming in wanting a red suit. I'm like, what you gonna do with the red suit after prom?
Yeah.
So I would match it like that. But you can do whatever you want, man. Yeah, but the smallest I have is a 34S. That would probably be, because your waist like a 28, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm limited to that. All I have is 34, is this right here. From here to here. You can take a good seat, bro. Let me know if you need anything, okay? I'm done, man, because I got some things I got to do. But I ain't want to keep going. But I can keep going all with the teachings. But I wanted to give y'all a crash course on that history. When I be telling us, man, we be doing things wrong. We be getting things real twisted. I'm going to send this all my students, man. If y'all don't got this is a bonus book that I got. I'm going to send this to some of my students. Hold on. How you doing, ma'am? How you doing?
Any burgundy shirts for kids?
I don't have any shirts for kids. I don't sell shirts for kids. Only men.
Where can I get one?
I have no idea. Maybe Kohl's, maybe.
Okay, what about ties for him? No?
I don't have nothing that small. Maybe Kohl's or the internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But any questions? I wish. Any questions, man? Like I say, no, I don't have a list, man, but a lot of stuff I'm getting ready to do. A lot of stuff I do on my own. So for me, man, I don't like to just advertise because at the end of the day, I used to have so much stuff advertising and people just want to look at it and like it. So, I mean, if Morris wants science, go on my page. You can go on my IG page, and I got a lot of, I advertise my stuff. Everything that I have, I advertise it on my page. I advertise all my books on my page. I got 11 books right now that's done. And I got a few more in publication because I do my own publication. So I'm gonna have 20 books done in a couple more months. But I do my own self-publication, man, and a lot of times people just be wanting to look at stuff like, oh, Mo, you got that? I said, no, I don't like to waste energy. And I tell Morris, you have direct connection with me. So I don't have a list with a whole bunch of books on there. I don't have that. But if Morris want all my books, like I tell Morris, if you want all my books, I got 11 books. Divine Creed of Morris Islam, Sufism and the Triple Rose, The House of Ali. I got a workout book. I got a cookbook. I got a vegan snack book. Man, it's a lot, man. But Morris can go on my page and like I tell Morris, if I print my books, then I ask for like at least 30, 40 bucks because I have to ship them and print them. But I have all my books PDF as well. So you don't have to go on the other platform. You can get everything from me. Even books, even a lot of books that I don't post. I have a library and I'm a wholesaler and I'm connected to a bookstore. So I tell a lot of my members that they can get books through me and I can send you a PDF and I can send you a receipt. You know? And so that's simple with me. I said, if you want anything, all you got to do is inquire. Like, I'm getting ready to have my hats done. I'm getting ready, what you say? Let me know if you got the other. Got the other what, Noble? Oh, I have to look. Make sure everybody make sure you inbox me when Morris sends stuff, because a lot of time when Morris be Cash App and PayPal, I don't have your information or your email. So please email me when you send donations for I can send you stuff when you becoming students, because I have to go through stuff. So my email is my name, Goodman, Goodman, Khary, Khary, @gmail.com. I mean, we make fairs, we make books. Remember, when you get stuff from me, you're not buying it. It's a donation because I'm a tax-exempt organization. So you get to claim everything. It's a donation from me. So everything you get a tax-exempt receipt. But any questions? I got to get ready to. I'm getting out of here early. Any questions? Any questions, Morris? I'm done. Whew. I am done. I just hope it's Allah's will, and I hope everybody will match Allah's, and I hope we become students, man. I really do, for we can study, because we just getting started, Morris. We ain't even scratched the surface. Because in a few more months, I'm gonna have our web page where I'm not even gonna be online. I'm not even going to be online. A lot of stuff is going to be strictly on our web page, Morris. And I might come on Instagram and YouTube to give a little snippet. But most of my teachings and most of my lectures and things are all going to be on our web page, on our Temple and School web page, and that's almost finished. And so what I'm continuing to doing is courting brothers and sisters that might be lost or might be getting educated wrong about Moorish history, civics, law, and business. So I just hope you ask yourself and you look at your finances and be like, wait a minute, man, I'm wasting money on this. I need to be a part of something real and be serious of what we're doing and teaching so we can have something. And I don't want Moors to be left out, when we start really, really rocking and rolling. I'm telling you, man, all I need is 100 Moors. We got 100 Moors giving $100 a month. That's 120,000 a year. Don't y'all know what we have? I have all the books. You mean I got all the books, man. I just ain't talking about them. The red book is the red book of the Silent Brotherhood of the East, and that's just a continuum of the Quran. I told you those are 7 books that I give all my students. I give the Quran, the Catechism, Unto Thee I Grant. It's like 7 study books. The Quranic study guide, but the red book, the Silent Brotherhood of the East, go with the Moorish Quran. I mean that all synchronized. That's why I be telling Moors, they say they adapt and they sheiks, and I say, well, the red book or the Silent Brotherhood of the East, it just goes along with the Quran. When I be telling Moors and I be talking about the Hebrew God is the deity of Allah, and a lot of stuff when Jesus go through the adapt chamber and all that stuff, when he's a soaker 7 and all that stuff. That's how I know Moors are not studying the teachings of our noble Drew Ali, and because they operate on hate and all that stuff, synchronize the stuff. I don't even know what that mean, man, Noble. What about the Moors saying they under the prophet's chauffeur? Who would the prophet's chauffeur? A lot of people be making up stuff. I'm like, man, hey, a lot of stuff I don't stay with. Who's the prophet's chauffeur? Tell me that, Noble, real fast. Who's the prophet's chauffeur? Man, Noble. Who's the prophet's chauffeur? Who's the prophet's chauffeur? Are they legit? Look. That's something you should be asking. Hold on. How can I help you, man?
All right. I'm looking for like a maroon shirt. Like
A maroon shirt? Just dress shirt?
yes.
Do you like it slim fit?
Yes, sir.
And see, mine are not slim fit. They fit kind of baggy.
Oh,
I'm trying to...
I like slim.
I know.
I'm skinny, so
Yeah. Have you been to... Because I'm replacing all those. Eventually, I got maroon shirts, but they're not... They big. Only got
not
slim.
like yours.
And see, I only got them in white and black. I'm going to replace all those hopefully in a couple weeks, and everything's going to be slim. So you check with me about in a week or 2 if you haven't got it. I should have all
So
slim.
the only thing is you got black and slim.
Black and white, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, but maybe, like I said, try Guess and maybe Macy's. They may have a brand called Alfina, and those are slim. Yeah, you see I got a lot. They still just sitting here. They ain't going nowhere because nobody don't buy them. So we get rid of them all.
I like slim. Really.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yours.
Yeah, and that's why I'm replacing them all.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll come back.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, man.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know what that is, man. What'd you say? Let me see what you said. You said, I don't know who that is. You said, hold on. Why the Moors in the temple don't teach like you do? They hoard. Noble. Let me be clear on some things, Moors. When we be talking about the temple, the temples per se is just a building. It's the people. So if we go to a building and then it's not no real sheiks and no real teaching there, you got to leave. And it's just a building. But see, that's our problem. We'll let our own people lead us into a shallow grave and into hell instead of coming up out of that. If they're not teaching like I'm teaching, then that means we need to come out of that and be part of this. And help me build the physical temple out here in Arizona. And then we have not only me just going live at my office and my home, I have a physical temple here where the kids can come. And that's what I'll be telling more is I don't want a lot of stuff that I'm doing. I don't want my other supporters when I get there and I say, I showed y'all what we can do under the tax code. So I don't know about a lot of people. I don't know. No, but what you mean when somebody say they under the chauffeur? I ain't never heard that. Man, I support stuff for our children. Like I do a lot for kids, man. Like a lot of my philanthropy stuff, cause I'm a divine minister. I do a lot of stuff for kids. I'm a wholesaler, so like when I go back to Flint, Michigan, I stuff 100 backpacks with everything. I buy uniforms for kids under my organization, so it's a lot that we do. But I don't understand that. What you mean about under the chauffeur? I mean, can you elaborate on that? Please, somebody. And see, this is how we be getting caught up when people just be making up stuff. And I say, well, a person charter, it's only one thing. We're supposed to be teaching people our holy and divine creed and nationality. A lot of people just print stuff. And then a lot of that stuff don't mean nothing if the teachings are not right. So it's the teachings. You got a lot of people that just call themselves adepts or call themselves sheiks. Well, in Moorish science, if you a sheik, you're supposed to be an adept. If you a sheik, you're supposed to be an adept in Moorish science. Now, it's other adepts in the world but they all are not Moors per se, but they adapt by the science. I know a plethora of adapts all over the globe, and they know more science, and then a lot of these Moors that call themselves sheiks. So we got caught up in the building, just like a lot of church folk get caught up in building, just like a lot of a religious Muslim under that Islam, they get caught up in the building, but they ain't studying nothing. Only thing they reading, just like a preacher, whatever the imam tell them to read, that's what they reading, or they not reading. I know they not studying. This is just truth. And a lot of them Moors in those temples, they just gave themselves titles. And when you look at the way they living, when you look at their life is in shambles. All that stuff, it's fraudulent. You'll never hear me talking about trying to make you something, do that. I tell you to be a student, because the teacher's gonna save you. A card ain't gonna save you. This fez ain't gonna do nothing for you if you don't know how to defend it. Hey man, look, I don't know. Look, listen, Morris. Come on, man. Come on, nobles. Come on, Morris. That's all I say. Listen to the wisdom. See what comes out of it. You judge everything by the spirit. I don't care if some person was Noble Drew Ali's driver or whatever a person say. What is that body teaching? If that body ain't teaching nothing, then it's all folly. It's all valid. It's all no good. I don't give a damn about no character. I tell people I don't follow characters. I don't give a damn about nobody or no person calling themselves some sheik. I ain't respecting it if you ain't teaching the truth. Because if you teaching the truth and a lot of stuff stopped, why you ain't telling the truth about what the Moorish Science Temple is really about? Why you ain't taking it to the world courts? Why you ain't telling people the truth of the AA2 number? Where we need 30,000 Negro, blacks, and color to proclaim and declare and have due process. That's the only way we're gonna get some reparations. We gotta restore. Man, I start showing you letters that people wrote, and then the correspondent showed that they frauds. I done read them letters. If a lot of Moors that been on my YouTube page, I wish I had the letter that a lot of people wrote through I think a lot of y'all saw that, and I read it, the letter that they wrote to the county clerk in Chicago, the CCRD, and what the response was to them goofy ass Moors talking about this and that. They said everything you saying is legally wrong and you wrong. All that proved them wrong. So just because a person can say something, that don't mean nothing, man. If they ain't operating like that, they're gonna tell you, oh, we can do this, you can do this. It's all, but what are you doing? Nothing. What do you have? Nothing. What do the Moors have? What land? What building? It ain't no vast estate. It ain't no vast estate. The temple in Chicago abandoned. Moors love taking pictures and photo ops. Ain't no trust. Ain't no trust. In order to, and this is what more we talk about, our vast trust. You the vast trust. Okay, they a trustee. Okay, to be a trustee, it got to be something monetary or tangible. That's or property. It ain't none of that. It ain't none of that. That's why I be telling Moors they don't know that they not telling people the truth. I told y'all, all y'all need to book how the temple was set up. And a lot of my Moors finna get that. I'm shipping them out. It costs $50 as a donation. So you can be clear. So you can be like, man, you lying. Here go how the temple was set up right here. Here go the affidavit of everything right here. Here go the 1010 number, everything, how the prophet set up. And you got people printing fake stuff and it's not real Moorish Science Temple of America. They use the numbers fraudulently. If they were telling the truth, they should pass everybody that's part of the temple. Here you go. And I show y'all that every time. I read it over and over how the temple was set up, so we can be clear on things. I read that letter, I almost called them goof. Yes, how them goofballs tried to write and tried to hide the letter that went to the CCRD. I got it. And if they was righteous in everything they were doing, I give you. I'm gonna print it out. I'm gonna show you how the temple was set up. I got the whole jurisdiction, everything, and how when Mealy L, when he sent the stuff to the Pentagon. That's what the exhuming of the nation. They ain't gonna teach y'all about the exhuming of the nation. I have it. They ain't gonna teach y'all about the laws. They ain't gonna teach y'all. They ain't gonna reveal. They ain't gonna remove the veil of these so-called secret societies and show you how European masonry. If a lot of our science buried in a shallow grave, they ain't gonna teach y'all that. I will. That's why I want y'all to be members and students of my school. We are Moors, and that's where it stopped for me. I'm a professor and an educator. I'm a Buddha. I'm a businessman. I have the Burn the Bush Tabernacle, Moorish Science Temple and School, where I teach Moorish civics, where I teach Moorish business, where I teach Moorish history, real law. I give you precedent in court cases. I let you know about the doc numbers before you won't get caught up. Man, I don't deal with that. That's why I said we under, and that's the problem. Why we got to be under Why we got to be under somebody if we're not going to be teachings? I don't give a damn if you under John Doe. If John Doe ain't teaching you nothing, I don't give a damn about nobody's chauffeur. Okay, if that's okay. If a lot of more is under that, what do they know? For sure. And what are they doing? Are we just talking and pointing and a whole bunch of people talking? And are we building the community? Are we educating the children? Are we doing philanthropy in the neighborhood? Do we have the lunch program like the Panthers did? What are we physically doing as Moors, as a body, trying to teach fallen humanity and help our children? What are we doing? Nothing. We in the temple, and we acting like some damn Masons. That's what's happening. Come on, man. That's what's happening. So I don't give a damn about what are Moors teaching, because the ones that I've seen under a certain person, they don't know nothing. They acting like some domestic terrorists. Talking about that expatriation stuff for some de facto government. I'm like, you at home. That ain't no noise our prophet taught. Come on, man. Talk about we under the prophet chauffeur. I mean, okay. Now what? So if we under the prophet chauffeur, what the prophet chauffeur teaching? Oh, they say they done. Okay, Islam. Yep, so the copy's ready. So all the Moors that donated to get that literature I'm talking about right now, about how the temple set up, and the letters that Miliel sent to the Pentagon about our Moors declaration and all that, you will be getting your copies this week, because my guy just told me they done. Because I got one of my guys that's working on my print press, and so we coming up with a newspaper. We coming up for this his urban newspaper. That's what he call it, you know. Any questions? But I don't know nothing about that, Morris. I don't know nothing about that. I ain't finna, like I said, I ain't finna talk about what nobody doing. I can care less. I don't give a damn who nobody under. If you ain't teaching right, I can care less if you under the Pope. I can care less if you under Noble Drew Ali. If you ain't teaching right, I don't give a damn who you under. See? That's bull crap. That's bull crap. Well, what are you then? Well, what are you? Well, what are you? I'll wait. Well, what are you? Because, see, they didn't understand the duality, and we understand things, but what are you? I'll wait. What are you? What are you? And that's all you got to ask a person. If you're not, that's why I said Moors, they not only got to study the words, they got to understand the language. Because if you understand the language, then you will correct yourself. Because the laws correct us, not believing in somebody. The laws and the truth has no side. So if you're not a citizen, what are you? So what are you? I wait. So if you're not a citizen, what are you? That's how I know Moors are not studying the language. We just getting caught up in things. We just getting caught up in garbage. So if you're not a citizen, what are you? Because see, I wait. If you're not a citizen, what are you? So if they teaching you're not a citizen, then you got to be something else. So if they teaching you're not a citizen, what are you? Are you an alien? Are you outside the parameters of the law? So if you're not a citizen, what are you? I'm gonna start showing you a lot of adapt stuff too. I'm gonna show you a lot of our materials adapt science. I'm gonna show you, because they don't understand the science. You're a what? Say it again, Malik. Say it again. Say it again, Malik. Say it again, Malik. Say it again one more time in bold letters. Please, please. You are alien, a desirable, and not under the protections of the law. And you are outside the law. I'm telling you. And see, they're not going deep. They're getting caught up in catchphrases. You damn right. They getting caught up in catchphrases because they not studying the duality of a citizen. And I'll be like, yes, we understand that. That's how I know they ain't reading the Exhuming of the Nation and the laws, the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment. They ain't researching the Dred Scott Law. They ain't researching the amendments. They ain't researching nothing. They getting caught up in somebody that's talking. I'm like, man, they ain't reading no Constitution. I'm like, that's not the 13th, 14th, the 15th Constitution. That's not nothing. All that is him talking. And then I say, prove it. They can't, because them Negroes don't know how to read. I'm telling you fact. Them Negroes don't know how to read. I said, you taking that out of context. I said, let's read that, and let's read it in the proper context. I said, do you know the etymology of meaning in that word in this context? No. I said, come on, man. With that, what you said, 7, stateless. You damn right. Stateless. And I'm going to show you this in more of our adapt teachings. That's why I said, man, there's no excuse in the court of law not knowing the law. You got to understand international, local, state, and federal law. And half of these Negroes are mixing local, state, and federal law with international law. You'll get your ass handed to you dealing with a fool that don't know the difference, that don't know international law, and don't know the importance of nationality and what it consists of. Thinking you were born here, that make you a citizen. You have to take the amnesty oath. I mean, and then Morris, if they was teaching more science, can't nobody make you something that you were already born. Can't nobody nationalize you or denationalize you. No more science temple had the authority to make you something. That's a lie and a sin. If any Negro in the temple telling they can make you a Moorish American, that's a lying and saying, I'll show you and I'll exhume another nation. That's fraud. That's fraud. If that's the case, tell them Negroes to make a Chinese or a Sudanese, but they tell them they can make you a Moorish American and not make you something. This shit is fraud. And that's why I tell people I don't deal with everybody. You damn right. Man, these Moors ain't read nothing. Man, all Moors like to do is post stuff and act like Moors do not study. I know Moors' comprehension level is not high. Moors don't even have the Moors Quran, Noble. I'm telling you. So let alone gonna tell you something about some international law, and then I say what the 13th Amendment consists of. I don't know. I say what the 14th Amendment consists of in its entirety. I don't know what the 15th Amendment consists of in its entirety. I don't know what the damn the rights of the indigenous people consist of. I don't know. What did Obama say in 2010 when he said you have a right of a nationality and a right to change it, and no one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality, and the claim a child replaces the birth certificate? What do we mean when he said that? I don't know. You see? I know they act like Masons, and that's what they try to accuse me of, being some Mason. I said, well, see what charter I am, because they don't know that I'm an adept. And this is 99 degrees, Memphis and Mizraim. And they don't know I teach. I'm a teacher. That's why when I see European masonry, they bow down, not in a disrespectful place, but they know the science. They sons of Muslims. If they a son, who the damn daddy? This is simple stuff. That's why I said I'll take a lower level European Mason. I ain't say no Negro Mason, and they know all the science. Why? Because they studying you to a T. All Moors doing just having fun, posting shit, trying to scam their own people. Don't no more, can't no more, no temple make you something. Them cars don't mean nothing. If it's the true temple, it's part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's it. That's right. They doing the same thing. Only thing they can make you is a Mason. Can't nobody make you something. Only thing they can do is make you a Mason. That's it. They act like you're obeying your L is some religious name. I'm telling you. If these temples were set up, why they ain't teaching the truth about the true AA22 number, and you got to have 30,000 Negro, blacks, and colored to nationalize, to proclaim, declare, and have due process, and take it to the world courts in the Netherlands. Everything else is uncivilized, but Negroes think somebody gonna print them a card like that's gonna do something. That ain't nothing. It ain't backed by nothing. It ain't backed by no government. It ain't backed by nothing. Those ID cards don't mean nothing. Those fake ass passports don't mean nothing. Those fake plates don't mean nothing either. It all don't mean nothing. If you want some cosmetic, you might as well cosmetic yourself up. Hell. Talk about the law said we can self-identify. Yes, as one tribe. Not nobody sitting at home with no ID card machine, bring you some stuff. Talk about Moorish Science Temple of the world. Talk about some Free Sundry Moor Act, and then on your ID you got an expiration date. That's some shit somebody done did at home. That's why I be like, man, we Negroes always want to commit fraud and make the games up. I'm like, it's a joke. I said, Moors not understand the language. That's why a law can point. But ain't none of these Negroes corrected themselves. They always talk about what some teachers of Noble Drew Ali did. And I say, have you corrected yourself? No. Moors just be talking about stupid stuff. If this government, if this all of the de facto, if it's all fake, then why are you going to go ask some jurisdiction or some fake government of who you are? See, this is the thing I'll be laughing at, Negroes. Or do you got L on your license or Bay? I do, but what difference do it make? I got it all on my college degrees too. Exactly. Say it. And I watch this, Noble. Watch this. Now we finna teach this. They think they nationals. Noble, what is a national? This what we gonna see. That's why I love law. I'm getting my Juris Doctor degree in Indigenous People Law and Policy. See, these Negroes don't even know what a national is. A national is just somebody with a dual citizenship. That's a damn national. You got dual citizenship, and none of them Negroes don't have dual citizenship. Just like people be a citizen of somewhere else, and they get trouble in here in the States, they say, we shipping your ass back to your home country. Negroes don't even know. They getting caught up talking about, if you a national, well, show me your dual citizenship. Everybody that got a passport is a national. This what you don't know. I'm telling you, man. And then if you read the laws, the rights of indigenous people, and then y'all people going on certain publications talk about with IDs, I'm like, that ain't all law. I said that ain't all law. As a tribe is one people under one flag, under one auspice. If we a tribe, all our ID the same. Let me give you an analogy. Just like I got my degree from Grand Canyon University, my master's in first century religion and first century history, I got a dual master degree. If I was back home in Flint, Michigan and taking the classes online and wanted a student ID of that body, will my ID be different? You think somebody at home or a student's like, oh, I'll make you an ID, or I'm gonna get my ID from the body. And when I go to Arizona and when I go to the libraries physically, all our ID the same. Yes, why? Because it's one body. I don't give a damn about the subordinate temples. It's one body with subordinate temples, and the subordinate temples supposed to be under a certain type of rulership. It's supposed to be under a certain type of rulership. Follow the analogy. I ain't talking about just the ID. I'm talking about the system. I'm talking about the system. The system is nothing's gonna change. If it's Moorish Science Temple of America and they say they the temple, they cars, all our ID cards should be the same, so it won't be no confusion. If not, it's not in one body. That means then we confused. And we don't have a main branch. The main branch issues out the cards for what? The subordinate temples. That's how it should be. So when you see a Moor or when you see a brother that's part of the Moorish Science Temple, everything should be the same. It shouldn't be why everybody's stuff should be different. It shouldn't be. It should be the same so you can identify with things. So you can be like, this is valid. Why? Because this one body. Can't nobody be at home printing you something. It ain't no government. That's fraud. You might as well print your own. You might as well print your own. And that's why I be saying, like, and then I'll be like, who we covenant with? All Moorish dudes like to do is post pictures and stuff. We definitely not studying. Because if I talk Moorish science, none of us know Moorish science. None of us know what our prophet taught. None of us know the real law. None of us know real law. None of us study the 13th, the 14th, and 15th Amendment. None of us study how the temple was set up. None of us study the duality of words. All we do is just post and repeat what people say. That's all we do. And I'll be laughing. Moors don't defend themselves. Nobles don't wear their fez. Emperors don't wear their fez or their turban. All we do is get on here and post up. We say we Moorish Science Temple. And I say, well, who you studying with? Because ain't nobody studying with me. Moors just jump on here and think we can hear something, then try to repeat it. And that's what we do wrong. Because they conditioned us not to be students. They conditioned us to be entertained. And that's the thing. We don't want to be students of this. We want to be entertained. And that's the problem I have with this movement. And our prophet said, in 50 years, you ain't going to see this movement. Any more questions, man? I'm done. I'm getting ready to get out of here, man. I wish everybody became students, but I know that ain't on everybody's heart. And the only reason why we confuse is because we let people confuse us. It's because we be confused. Because we're not covered in the right way. Man, how can you say you studying the teachings of our prophet Noble Drew Ali and you don't have a Moorish Quran? And then if you do have a Moorish Quran, it's words in there, it's analogies and parables in there that I know the average person don't understand or understand or whatever damn catchphrase you want to use. I know a lot of this stuff more than just hearing. So who you covenant with? You just gonna make it up to what you want to do. That's what preachers do. And that's why we misguided. Any more questions, man? This fez don't make you no adept. This fast don't make you no adept, man. This fast is just a symbology of letting people know who you are. That's one meaning. But then this tassel and the wisdom and the adept, all that, man, come on. It's supposed to be what you know and how you live and how you can conjure things. It's the science. It's the educating. We're adepts. Everybody's not sick in the same manifestation. If a person's sick physically, how you gonna help them? If you sick and you just gonna and you don't know how to make an arcana for a person, I do. I told you I got sick a couple weeks ago. I didn't take no medicine. I made my concoction. I made my turmerics. I made my spirulina. I took my ginger and all that. I made my concoction. You know. And then when it comes down to physical fitness, it's the thing with our body. Our body is our temple. But you're going to say you're going to teach somebody and you walk around flabby and sick. What if somebody need help with their weight and what they eat? How you going to help them? How you going to help them people get to that high blood pressure and they think it's passed down from generation? And I say it ain't nothing. That's what you eat and drink. I can help you with that. You see? What about our children that's miseducated and we can't even help them? And we can't even help our kids. We can't even help our kids being educated. We can't even help our kids and give them something to combat that pseudo academia or that program learning. But we'll come right here and jump on the internet and act like we something. And our kids failing in school. They calling our kids Negroes. It's so-called Black History Month, and I ain't seen that nan more here correct they no teachings. So until we correct ourselves, we have no business jumping on no damn internet like we teaching somebody something. We have no business doing that. And I'm like, all we doing is having fun, and we ain't trying to correct our status. So this is a joke, and we can talk about, or nationality is the order of the day, and we can post all this stuff. But what are you doing to spread the message and to help the message of nationality is the order of every day? Have you corrected your status? Have you proclaimed, declared to have due process? Have we done that? If we haven't done that, we need to stop. We need to stop. And if it's a temple in your area, you need to be asking them why they ain't nationalizing every Negro, black, and color in the temple and getting them the ID so we can take it to the war courts. That's the least they can do. That's the least that any temple can do. I love y'all, man. Islam, support this movement. Peace.